Angeles Dodgers are kind of going a little bit crazy right now. And it's very interesting because, you know, I haven't really thought a whole lot about the Dodgers this year. I think most people are talking about their division mates in the San Diego Padres, who I think were a favorite to win the World Series at the beginning of the year. Now, obviously, they are very out of contention at this point, barring any kind of incredible turnaround. They probably will not even make the postseason or even come close to making the postseason at this point. And obviously, the Arizona Diamondbacks, who I think have been the main surprise, at least in my mind, of the year, because I've said this several times on the podcast. I thought that they would do this next year, and this year they'd kind of be, okay, a little bit below 500, maybe third or fourth in the division, and be, have next year be the year that everybody steps up. And you know what? They've been so darn good that they kind of are a little bit early in my mind. Their hitters are young and they're talented, and they are relentless. Their pitching staff needs work, their bullpen needs work, but you know what? To who's his own, and not every team can be perfect. So, anyways, I think that most people are not really talking about the Dodgers until the last couple of days because they have swung some very interesting trades. The first of which that I want to talk about hits home for me as a Red Sox fan. They traded for Kike Hernandez, formerly of the Boston Red Sox, and formerly before that of the Dodgers. So obviously Kike Hernandez with a little bit of a homecoming there, and in exchange, the Red Sox got a couple of pitching prospects. From what I understand about them, they're a little bit low-level pitching prospects, but that's fine. We honestly need as many pitching prospects as we possibly can just in general, because the Red Sox pitching is not very good. So, yeah, I think it was time. I think it was time. Kike Hernandez has not been a very good hitter for the Red Sox. Now, look. 2 years ago in that postseason run, he was on fire, and it was so much fun. I'm sure it was very frustrating for anybody who played the Red Sox to see a guy who was hitting .235 in the regular season hit a home run basically every single time he went up to the plate in the postseason until the very end, obviously. But, that was a lot of fun. I don't necessarily have any personal attachment to Kike Hernandez, so you know what? Good for him. He's getting to go back to where it all started for him. The Dodgers fans love him out there. He did great for them. I was happy to have signed him because we needed guys that were going to be leaders in the locker room and in the clubhouse. And we needed guys that were flexible, that could play multiple positions, and Kike Hernandez is both of those to a T. So he did what he could. But I'm just being honest with you, he hasn't been very good since that postseason run. He's been statistically one of the worst players offensively in baseball this year for somebody who's consistently playing. It's just been very bad. So Trevor Story coming back. He's probably going to be our shortstop now. So, good for the Dodgers getting Kike Hernandez back to be their shortstop. But interestingly, they weren't done there. They actually traded for another shortstop in Amed Rosario. Now, I don't remember what they gave up for Amed Rosario at the time that I was looking into it. I don't think it had come out yet that they traded or what they traded for Amed Rosario, but I can only presume it was some kind of low-level to mid-level prospect, maybe two. So it is what it is. I believe he played for the Guardians. So you know what? Again, more flexibility, right? A guy that can play multiple positions, but is mainly a shortstop. Kind of like Kike Hernandez. Kike Hernandez, he proved that he can play second base. He can play center field. He can play all these different positions. And Amed Rosario, not quite as flexible and not quite as I'm not sure what the term I'm looking for is. I'm just blanking right now, but not quite as movable as Kike Hernandez, but still can play multiple positions. And I think now what's good is that you could put Mookie Betts back in the outfield. I know he's been playing a lot of second base for the Dodgers this year, So now you can move him back to the outfield because you can have Rosario at short or Kiki Hernandez at second or vice versa. Or you could just have one of those guys in the lineup and have whoever else you feel like putting out there at second base. And Mookie Betts can move out to right field where he has been an all-star for his entire career. And he has won multiple gold gloves and all that good and fun stuff. So I think it was great. Two pretty solid trades for the Dodgers. Made their major league roster a little bit better and a lot more flexible. So that's obviously never a bad thing when you are trying to hang on to a very slim division lead out there in the West. But the big one today that dropped a few hours ago by the time I'm recording this was the Dodgers traded for Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly from the Chicago White Sox in exchange for a package including Trace Thompson, the outfielder who I feel like is most notable and most well known for being all-star shooting guard Klay Thompson's brother, and a couple of other prospects as well thrown in there too. So, Lance Lynn has had a pretty bad year. He's had a couple of really dominant starts, and the White Sox seem pretty hell-bent on leaving him out there despite his struggles. I'm not going to compare Lance Lynn to Jordan Lyles in any way, but I feel like they're kind of having similar roles right now in which, Jordan Lyles, while the Royals are just atrociously bad, and the White Sox are pretty bad too, and Jordan Lyles is just going to basically lose every game that he pitches in. The White Sox are also kind of having Lance Lynn be in that role because both those guys are basically just out there to save the bullpen. Like, hey, I don't care if you give up 8 runs, you're going 6 or 7 innings because, all these other guys that are pitching, they're not going to last 3 or 4 innings. So we've got to basically destroy our bullpen. So you're the guy that's going to go out there and, eat up all these innings even though you're giving up a ton of runs. Lance Lynn has thrown 120 innings this year, despite being injured for the first couple of weeks of the season. And guess what? 120 innings isn't all that bad. I don't think he's on pace to hit 200 innings, but he's going to be pretty darn close. And his ERA is over 6. I mean, horrible. He's not pitching well, but they keep leaving him out there for long periods of time. 6 innings, 7 innings, 8 innings, giving up 5, 6, 7 runs. It's crazy. What they're doing to poor Lance Lynn. Now, again, he's had a couple of really dominant starts. I think he had a start where he had like 15 strikeouts or something crazy like that. But look, he's a fastball pitcher that doesn't throw 97 miles an hour. He throws 90 to 93, and he's a fastball pitcher. He gets outs with his fastball in a league that pretty much dominates fastballs at this point. Lance Lynn's pitching style, quite frankly, I think is getting a little outdated for today's baseball. If you're going to be a fastball pitcher, you got to have gas. Absolute gas. And even the guys that have absolute gas are still getting fastballs crushed because there's not enough movement on it. So I just think Lance Lynn is getting to that point where his prime is over. If he's not already there, his prime's probably already over at this point. Let's be honest with ourselves. But you know what? The Dodgers need some pitching. They got rid of Noah Syndergaard, who also was pitching terribly. And so he basically is going to slide right in and take Noah Syndergaard's spot in a rotation that is already pretty solid. Obviously with Kershaw, Buehler I think is out for the year, so he's not really pitching. But, it's still a decently solid rotation out there in LA. But, maybe a change of scenery will do him some good. He's been traded in the past halfway through the season, and it has not worked out. I remember him getting traded to the Yankees back in like 2016 or 17 or 18 or, obviously a handful of years ago, and he did not play well at all for them. He really struggled moving to a new city, and then he eventually signed with the Rangers, I believe, and he ended up turning his whole career around and ended up making an all-star game, and he was very, very good, and then now he's here with the White Sox, and he's been okay until this year. So, maybe he'll figure things out in LA. Maybe he won't. Time will tell. But I'm rooting for him. I like Lance Lynn. I hope that he gets things figured out. I just don't know he will because, again, his style of pitching is just not conducive to success in today's baseball as far as I'm concerned. And it's showing this year. I mean, he has a 7 ERA for a reason. So, as far as I am concerned, I'm not sure what he's going to do to help the Dodgers. I'm not sure if I trust him in a playoff rotation at this point for the Dodgers, who are legitimately trying to win a World Series. So, but time will tell. We'll see. But the point being is the Dodgers have made a few moves to really shore up their roster, and it's interesting to me because, I feel like the Dodgers do this every year, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. But I feel like this year, everybody's just kind of been talking about their division mates and their division rivals, but they really haven't, their rivals haven't really done a whole lot in terms of trades, but the Dodgers have. And so the Dodgers are trying their best to be better, and it's up to the rest of the division to try and catch up with them. But we'll see what happens as the season rolls through and as playoffs start. Will these moves help the Dodgers make and even win a World Series? We'll have to see.
Hey guys, me again. Thank you so much for watching one of my clips from the Lopes Goes Last podcast. These clips are so much fun to do. I absolutely love making them and I absolutely love doing them. And this podcast is my baby. So I really want this thing to grow and I really want it to succeed. So if you did like what you see, please subscribe. Also hit that bell notification so you never miss any one of my episodes or one of my clips like this one. And please do also like and share these videos with your friends and your family so that we can make this thing grow as fast as possible. And I wanted to thank you again so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a great rest of your day.